Yeah, really from a valuation perspective, Asia is definitely the place to go when you compare sort of on the price to earnings as well as on the price to book basis. If we look at the US equity markets are trading at 3.5 times price to book, while we look at Asia is only roughly about 1.7 times. Asian stocks in particular are only roughly around 13 and a half times forward earnings, while US is more around 17 times. So if you compare just like for likes, there's definitely a lot more attractiveness here. In particular, a lot of the Southeast Asian markets, a lot of the ASEAN markets are trading well below what their fair value and historical values are from a
Hmm.
valuation perspective.
Some may say, though, that's potentially for a reason. If you look at concerns around what's happening in a few ASEAN economies around COVID-19, concerns about the economic prospects as well, there seems to have been this preference for North Asia for quite some time. So what is the case for rotating, if that's what you want to do, or at least putting more money into ASEAN?
Well, a bit of a universal because the thing is that when you look at it on a year-to-date basis, countries like Taiwan, South Korea, and China, especially China A shares, they're up. While when we look at a lot of the ASEAN markets, they're down roughly about with Malaysia being down the least to places like Singapore or Thailand, Indonesia, even the Philippines down close to 20%. And yeah, you're exactly right in terms of sort of expectations not being high. But when you couple the fact that we have low valuations and low expectations right now, sort of for more medium to longer term investing, ASEAN markets do definitely, look a bit interesting at the moment.
And Ken, I want to get your view on the Japan Q2 GDP we had this morning. Obviously, you were braced for it. Many investors in the markets were braced for it. It might not come as a surprise, even though it is a shock in itself looking at that number. But how does it affect your strategy with regards to Japanese equities? And how are you going to strategize for it going forward?
Well, Japanese equities again, do look attractive as well. Not as attractive as they were before from a relative, sort of looking at from a regional perspective. But looking at sort of third quarter numbers, retail sales are coming back a little bit, and specifically we are expecting to see a revival in third quarter GDP to some extent when you compare on a quarter basis. But that second quarter GDP reading was well expected because Japan was in a lockdown for most of April and May, and with the travel lockdown not until sort of ending till mid of June, it was widely expected, right? You had 99% decline in tourism in Japan as a whole from foreign travelers, and so as a result, it's one of those things where it is unfortunate, but it's one of those situations where I think most people had anticipated.